There are 4,218 PS2 games, and I'm beating every one of them. I've got to own the game because I'm playing everything on the original hardware, but I've beefed it up with a RetroTink 5X, some component cables, and more to come soon. Can I do this before I die of old age? I hope so. MotorStorm Arctic Edge was developed by Big Studios and released in the US September of 2009. Originally a PSP title, it was ported by Virtuous to the PS2, an odd decision due to the other games being on the PS3. This means the PS2 version lacks all of the online features the other games share on the newer console. Sitting at a Metacritic score of 72 out of 100, the game was criticized for lacking features and being very difficult near the end of the game. Can I beat this racing backport? Welcome to the mountain. Stormers have taken the MotorStorm Festival to the brutal frozen tundra of the Alaskan North. Choose from 24 vehicles and 8 classes, motocross bikes to big rigs, and exclusive to the Alaskan wilderness, the snowmobile and snowcat. 12 unpredictable and reversible racing locales, with shortcuts for each vehicle class slicing seconds off their time. Survive the mountain only to face your competition. The festival is on. And that's exactly what MotorStorm is about. You race several different types of vehicles over several different types of tracks, and you can go forward or backward, and you must find shortcuts to beat your opponents, and you also try and rank up higher by beating races in first, second, third place and getting points. The higher you rank, the more races you unlock. Also during those races, you can win gold stars by doing specific things like coming in first place, but also finishing in 3 minutes and 5 seconds. You get a gold star that unlocks special races that have special requirements and can sometimes unlock new vehicles. So how do you get credits in this game? Well, it's a little bit more convoluted than I originally thought. When I first played, I heard from Psyched Plays PS2, who is another PS2 challenger, that he beat everything on gold in first place to beat the game, and you actually do get credits. But I found you don't need to beat everything in first place to win. The whole idea is to beat each and every ranked race in first place. Those are not including the gold star unlocked races. Once you unlock all the gold star unlocked races, you then only need to complete in first place the races that unlock new vehicles. Any other race is simply there for points to unlock for ranks, and as long as you complete them once and get at least third place, second place, or first place, you will then be able to get credits after you finish the last race. All races have to be complete, but they don't all have to be in first place. So, that is still a pretty monumental task for how many races there are and the different kinds of vehicles you have access to during specific races. So, let's start with a very quick journey of this game. At first, I take a look at all the different types of races I have. Now, there are quite a few races to actually do, and each one is unlocked, like I said, by getting points from previous races. At the bottom left, you can see next rank at 200, the amount of points you have, and the amount of gold stars you have. These will determine what races get unlocked and in what order, because some gold star races you won't unlock because maybe you didn't get the gold star unlock on that turn, so you've got to go some more races forward. And not all races have gold star unlocks. Underneath the event locked area over there where it tells you all about the race, it will show a gold star at the bottom if you can get one. So once you get to that race, you can then unlock it by doing whatever it asks you to do, which is cool. And once you pick your race, you are then allowed to pick your vehicle. Some races have specific requirements for what vehicle you need to ride, some don't. You can pick whatever vehicle you want. Most of them do have a few that are required though. So if you pick a race, you might have to race the buggy, the car, the motorbike, or the snowmobile. Some races only allow you to ride the big rigs. Some races allow you to ride everything. It all depends on what they want you to do. And here's where everything kind of like comes down to what do you know about each of the vehicles, what vehicles are you good at, and how do they drive. There are several different tracks that go forward and backward, and I didn't really find I had any issues or great likes with any of them. They're all decent tracks, they're fun, there's lots of shortcuts, there's variation, so it really didn't feel too bad after having played the game for almost 20 hours. But after a while, once I had seen everything, of course, it did start to get a little boring, but that's for a little bit later. As for now, the tracks are fine, and I recommend playing this game because I think the driving and the tracks are pretty fun. Like I said before, each of the cars drives a little differently from the other ones, and even though you get a stat screen when you pick the cars, like the amount of acceleration or the top speed or the handling or the toughness, you don't really see exactly how those work against each other. For some reason, it never tells you a number, and because there's no way to compare each of the cars, it feels like you're never actually faster or slower than anyone else. It all comes down to how you drive and the handling of said car. The handling is actually the most important one. Sure, the acceleration and stuff is, but as long as you can handle the car well and you continuously drive forward without crashing or hitting walls, then you're probably going to win. Now, there is a boost in the bottom left corner of the screen you can see there, and boosts are available at all times during the game. 10 seconds after a race starts, you have unlimited boost. The only thing is that it will overheat that boost meter. You just can't use it too long. You have to let it cool down by just letting go. That means you must learn how to control how long you boost and when to boost. Some spots are not good to boost in. The middle of a turn maybe not is a very good idea, and maybe you come to a part of the track that's very short and you need to turn a lot or change course. You don't want to be boosting during that. Now, there is a couple caveats. One of them is that your boost can be cooled down by going through water or deep snow. That's pretty neat. The problem is that it's not always apparent where the deep snow is. Here you can see my boost bar is blue, and the second I leave the snow, it turns yellow. And once it's yellow, it goes back to its normal boost capabilities. But going underwater always works to help cool you down. Now, I'm not exactly sure if boosting cools down quicker while you're using it in the deep snow or the water, but it seemed to sometimes. So letting it go and cool down quickly in the snow is a good idea. The cars themselves, they feel very odd. I'm never sure who's faster, like I said before, who's faster, who has more acceleration, who drives better. In the end, I started to pick the big rigs more often than not. This is because they're so big they can push the other vehicles out of the way. The toughness of your vehicle does matter. When you crash into the different parts of the track, you'll eventually break and have to restart on top of the track. You don't have to restart the race, you just restart over the track and your car gets its full health back. But obviously you want to avoid hitting things and braking as often as you can, because that puts you back in the race. And the harder the race is, the less times you want to do that, because it will really set you back. And the big rigs have the most toughness, and if you can imagine, aside from the bikes and the snowmobile, you can't just be flung off of your vehicle in a second. These things are very tough and can take a lot of hits. And like I said, they can push other vehicles out of the way. If you have a choice between a big rig and a motorcycle, you probably want to take the big rig, because if you get bullied by a big rig while you are a motorcycle, it is torture. You can constantly get shoved into walls, shoved off of your bike, shoved over the edge of places. It's terrible. So more often than not, I pick the big rigs. Progression in this game is okay. I think that the end of the game is too hard and the beginning of the game and middle of the game is just fine. It's fine. It's great. I think learning the shortcuts that each vehicle should take in each race is really helpful. That means you want to learn with each vehicle where to go so that you can get there the fastest. Sometimes in the end of the game, it's too hard to tell which shortcut is actually fastest, because everyone is just faster than you. It's not rubber banding. It's just faster than you, always. So if you get ahead of them, you're gonna win. But if you don't, you're not going to. You just can't catch up. And it's very odd to tell. Beginning and middle of the game, it's all about how well you drive and what shortcuts you take. It really is. You can tell the difference in your speed and acceleration at all points in the middle and the beginning of the game, whereas the end of the game, the computer players are always so utterly fast, no matter what vehicle they use. They turn perfectly every single time. And then 6 races in of failing over and over, they will suddenly just disappear. I'll be driving like I normally do, and they'll disappear and I'll get first place, and I'll be confused. I didn't really race that much better this time. Why did I win? And if you look back in your rearview mirror, look behind you, you will not see any other vehicle. You'll be in first place in one of the end game races, and they'll just be gone. Be very confusing. Like, why are they gone? Usually they're on top of me at all times. What changes to make them suddenly disappear off of the track while I'm racing? I have no clue. Rank 8 races, which is the last rank you can get to, are so utterly difficult because they just are faster than you all the time. And I'm not sure why they decided this was what was going to happen, because rank 6 races are very difficult and feel pretty balanced, but 7 and 8 just feel terrible. Feels like I don't really have control. I just drive as best as I can and hope the game allows me to win the race. Now, some people might not feel that way, but I never found it very fair. Overall, this game was fairly fun until the last 6 hours of the game, where I was stuck on races simply because I never passed any of the computer players. There were a couple times where no matter how well I did, I was in 7th, 8th, 9th place. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, I'd be first and win. and I don't know how. I'd spend an hour on a race just for it to happen like that, and I'd be very confused. I didn't really do any better. How am I winning? So you'll find that yourself. If you want to play the game and skip some of the more ridiculous things, I absolutely understand, because to get credits in this game, you gotta beat pretty much every single race, and most of them in first place. Now, the vehicles themselves, you're forced to use certain vehicles in certain situations. You'll never find yourself using the vehicle you like most all the time. You just won't. So you gotta get good at like 3 or 4 vehicles to actually stand a chance. And then when you must use a certain type of vehicle you don't like, you're just gonna have to get good at it for that race and hope you don't have to use it again soon. This game is interesting, it really is, but it's just not the greatest progression-wise. The beginning and middle of the game, like I said, it's very fun, and I recommend playing it because it's a lot of fun. Once you get to the end, it's just AI opponents feeling like they're cheating. So that's just how the game is. This game gets a C on my tier list because I still recommend it, but it's very close to getting a D because, man, it's so frustrating to actually get to the credits. And I don't think a lot of people know how to get to the credits. I mean, sure, as long as you're willing to beat every single race, yeah, but some people just don't. They can't get some of the gold stars near the end of the game, which are brutally hard. So I absolutely understand. Anyway, this is game 111 beaten. I won't take up any more time because there isn't really much more to talk about. I recommend trying it for yourself if you'd like to see exactly how it works. Thank you to everyone who watched the video this far. It's not a very long video because there isn't that much to talk about. I mean, sure, it's a fun racing game, but there's not like a lot of special things or mechanics you'll see. Sure, there are a couple different races like, you know, getting through different checkpoints quickly or just being in first for the longest, but they're all practically the same thing. Do it fast and do it well, and then hope that game lets you do it. So thank you for watching the video. Thank you to anyone who's ever donated or been a member of the channel. You were the reason why we're playing MotorStorm Arctic Edge. This is, of course, another requested game, so thank you so much for this. It was a lot of fun to play. I know that I didn't really end up liking the game a lot, but this challenge is so fun. I'm just glad I got to play these games. It's just super cool. I'd never get to play these games otherwise. So thank you to anyone who's donated or become a member. And thank you to the people in the stream who at first we found the game to be fun and then had to listen to me complain for about 6 or 7 hours straight. So thank you. I mean, a lot of people kind of understood after a while, like, holy crap, I'm never going to play this game. So thank you for hanging out in the stream and watching the game, talking and keeping me company and just being cool. Thank you so much. This is game 111 beaten. 112 will be soon. Metal Arms Glitch in the System will be finished, and we'll take it on from there. We'll see some cool games. There's 130 games scheduled for the next 2 years. That's right, we have a schedule for the next 2 years. If you'd like to see it, the Discord is in the description. We have that list there if you'd like to see it. If not, and you just want to go to the stream real quick, you can ask me there. I'll give you a little link to the list, and you can see what I'm playing. I'll be back later.